Welcome to the Rusted Garden Homestead. We're in transition from warm crops to cool crops. I'm going to show you how to plant up this vertical tower with leafy greens. I'm going to show you how to do it quickly and easily. If you want to subscribe for 2023, I will show you how to grow an entire vegetable garden from seed starting indoors in January all the way through to putting your beds to rest in November. So let's get started on the tower. We're going to keep it quick. We're going to keep it simple. These are 5-tier vertical towers. If you're interested in purchasing these, check out the video description. I am affiliated with GreenStalk Garden. You can use my code, get a discount. So I'm going to clear out the pockets. So it's September 23rd, and I don't dump the soil out, refresh it in a growing season. What do I mean by that? I'll set this up, say we just got this for the first time. We fill it up with the potting mix, container mix. After 2 full seasons, I will dump this out again, refresh the soil, and put it back in. All we're going to do now, it's September, stuff has been growing in here, we're not going to dump it out. You just don't need to do that. Simply go in, pull out the plants that are in there. I just break up the root ball, just like that, and that's what I'm going to be planting into. If some of the roots stay in, that's perfectly fine. You don't have to be perfect. This space is going to be perfectly fine for all the lettuces that are going in. You're going to need a couple of things. A water-soluble fertilizer. I recommend using fish emulsion or AgroThrive. You can find information about that also in the video description. The water-soluble fertilizer is going to give the leafy greens nitrogen. That's what they want. And it's going to supply them the nitrogen right away. It's a fast release, meaning the leafy greens that we're going to be planting all in there, lettuces, endive, spinach, we'll all be able to use that nitrogen, get nice and big for our harvest. We're also going to throw in some organic granular fertilizer. I use anything that's on sale that has N, P, and K represented. And we're just going to put in about a tablespoonful into each pocket. And really, just this simple. Tablespoon or 2 goes right into the pocket like that. And then because something was growing in there, we do want to break up the root ball. I just use, a basic trowel and just really loosen up the surface. Mix the organic granular in. That's a slow release. That means soil biology has to break it down. This will feed the plants that we're putting in now just a little bit, but it will also sit in there. And if you're going into your second year, like I said, I don't dump this out every year and refresh it. This will give N, P, and K for your spring planting. If this was if we needed more soil in there, maybe there was a deeper gap in there, down to here, something like that, I would throw in some extra soil. Now it's nice and loose. All I would do is open up a space like that, pop in one of the transplants. I'll show you how to do that. If you're going to start by seed, if you want to put lettuce in there, just maybe 1/4 inch, something like that. Drop in 2 or 3 seeds, cover it over, press it in, water it in with the fish emulsion. When the plants come up, you could thin them down to 1 plant if you want a bigger head of lettuce growing out of there, or a bigger head of spinach, or whatever you're growing. When you leave more seeds in there, they're going to compete a little bit, but I pick my tower basically leaf by leaf, so I don't mind having 2 or 3 plants growing out of here. Just keep them well watered, keep them fertilized with the water soluble fertilizer. I'll talk more about how to use that at the end of the video. Right now I'm going to just empty out all the basil in here and get the pocket set up. These are transplants I started 4 or 5 weeks ago. This is about the size you want them to get to, and then just pop them into the towers or the ground. In some cases I have 1 plant in there, maybe 2. Whatever you want to put in is perfectly fine. I would just stick around, maybe 1 to 3 plants per planting hole. For your loose leaf lettuces, for an endive, that's a bib lettuce right there, and then spinach. If you're going to put in kale, you're only going to want to put in 1 plant per pocket because they get quite large. And again, I'm just going to be harvesting these by taking off 1 leaf, or maybe I'll cut out the whole plant when it's smaller, leave the roots in, and the leaves will continue to grow. Subscribe and follow me, and I'll show you how I take care of it. We'll talk about cut and come again lettuce, keep it fed, but I'll show you how to care for all this. And then we'll also drop in some seeds. But all we want to do, see if I can do this with 1 hand, somewhat gently, pop out the plant. It's going to look just like this, a nice root ball. Come over to the tower, just open up a space, nothing really fancy, and you're just going to plant it to just above my thumb, right about soil level of where it was sitting in the transplant cell, and then drop it around. Now it might be hard to get enough soil in there, so what you do is you just take it from another pocket drop it in, and then press it in, and then we'll come back and we'll fill whatever pockets we're taking soil out of. I'm going to put the seeds up here, so I'll show you how to do that when we're done. But right now I'm just going to go in, rotate the different greens in these first 3 levels, or first 2 levels, work my way down there, fill in all the pockets. But it's just that simple. Then we're going to water it in with the water-soluble fertilizer. The rain is starting to fall. In the bottom I put some dill. Dill can actually take a light frost, believe it or not. A lot of people don't know that. So I'll have some herbs down at the bottom, whole tier of spinach. Then I have my leafy greens coming up here. This is where I would put in the seeds, and I'm not gonna, exactly show you that, but you want to fill this up to the top. Make sure the soil is moist before you plant the seeds. If it's too dry and too loose, sometimes the seeds can fall down a little more deeply than you want them to be planted. So if you moisten it, the soil swells up, it's good to go. And you're just going to press it down, nice firm planting base, just about 1/4 inch, and you would just drop in your 2 seeds, 3 seeds there. You can thin them down to 1 plant. Once everything is in, you're going to get the water-soluble fertilizer, and the whole key to this is making sure that it stays well watered, and we're going to just put in fish emulsion just like this. A quick pour of the fish emulsion, and I would soak them all in like that. Once they've all been soaked in with the fish emulsion, I'm going to come back, water them in again. After that, I'll be watering from the top reservoir. I just want to set these up nicely with the water-soluble fertilizer so they get all the nitrogen that they need. Same thing, just give it a quick pour if I had seeds in there, and walk away. So after about 10 days of growing in here, you want to give them fish emulsion fertilizer, just like I showed you, every 10 to 14 days. You don't have to overdo it. That will keep them growing. The plants here can take a frost, and they're going to be perfectly fine come the warmth of the sun. So in the morning it's kind of cool because you'll come out, the leaves will be frozen. Sometimes you see frost patterns on there. It's really cool looking. Temperatures warm up, the leaves kind of droop a little bit, and then they perk up and they're perfectly fine. So you can keep growing through the frost with your leafy green tower. Please subscribe and follow me. I will show you how to take care of this. I will show you how I harvest from it. And we're also going to be moving in the next episode, taking these extra transplants and putting them into raised beds. So right now my garden's transitioning from the warm crops to the cool crops, and I will teach you how to do that. Please check out my seed shop at therustedgarden.com and give fall gardening a chance. It's just wonderful, and it's pretty cool that these plants can actually freeze and be okay.